So hi everybody, welcome to, this is session 4 of Awaken Your Intuition and Develop Your Psychic Skills and Learn to Channel. It's been so much fun for me doing this for you, and really loved hanging out with you guys every Sunday morning and and playing, because that's what we've been doing. So we're going to have plenty of time today to answer your questions, but I also want to get us doing lots more practice readings. I noticed that no one went and did any practice readings through the week on Instagram or Facebook, despite my encouragement. So I'm imagining that that means you just don't feel up to it, and that's completely okay. As this is kind of an introductory course to psychic skills, I totally understand how you feel. So we want to do some more practice. I think the good thing about doing practice in the group situation like this is that there's no repercussions. You're all beginners kind of thing. So you don't have to feel embarrassed if you don't get it right. And I think the other good thing about doing practice in this group is, you know, as I've said to you before, when you read for other people, whether it's a free reading or whether they're paying you, you know, women are highly agreeable people, and, you know, most of us don't like challenging others. So we're very likely to say, oh yeah, that was great, thank you, when maybe it wasn't so great for us. You know, women lie to, because they have empathy for other people's feelings. They don't want to make you feel bad. So I'd like to suggest that when we're doing readings in the group here, that we don't do that, that we are honest with each other if we don't feel any connection to the response that you're getting. Remember that there's a way of saying things to make sure we don't hurt each other. So let's all just put our egos aside when we do practice readings today, and just gently tell each other the truth about whether we actually identify with the information that we're getting from whoever's reading for us today or not. Now, as I said to you before, sometimes this happens all the time. I'll be doing readings for people and I'll say something and they'll go, no, that's not right, no. And then 10 or 15 minutes into the reading, it turns out it was right. They just couldn't see it. Like, for instance, I had a woman here the other day, and she wanted a reading about her relationship, and the first thing I said to her was, okay, so I'm sensing a power struggle going on in this relationship. And she was an Indian woman, and she kind of said to me, no, that's not right, no, my husband and I don't have a power struggle. I went, oh, okay. So when they argue with you like that, don't force it, just move on, right? That's my best advice, just leave it and move on. And then 10 minutes into the discussion, she said that they'd actually decided to separate because I feel like his mother and he's the child and I'm the mother. And I looked at her and I said, don't you think that's a power imbalance? That's definitely a power imbalance, right? You're not supposed to feel like their mother. That means that, you know, something's wrong. And she kind of looked at me. I don't think she still got it anyway. That happens all the time. So sometimes we can't see what we're being told from spirit. You know, we should always, you know, that's why I always make all my clients record their sessions, because you go back and you listen to them later and then you go, oh yeah, now I get it, you know, 3 weeks down the track or something. So I just want to have a quick look to start off with at a recap of the stuff about intuition and ego and wise mind. So I'm just going to share my screen with you for a second and bring up this. Let me turn the slideshow on. There we go. So this diagram that I gave you, here we're calling it emotional mind versus rational mind. Rational mind to me is ego, right? That's your ego, conscious mind, your left brain. Emotional mind to me is wise mind. So these are just different words they're using because this comes from a DBT therapy perspective, dialectical behavior therapy. But it's just kind of a good thing to remind us about the difference between our ego and our authentic wise mind. You know, if you're going to be doing readings, you need to be aware of when you're in your ego. And you will remember previously I have given you that ego practice where I asked you to just notice when you were in your ego. Remember, your ego always thinks it's better than everybody else, or it's not as good as anybody else. The ego is always fearful, doesn't want to take risks, wants to maintain the status quo, and is about survival of your being and your physical body, and that's what it's for, and to allow you to move and shake in third dimensional reality. That's what your ego is for. So the practice was just to walk around in your day-to-day living and notice or observe when you're in your ego. So for instance, if I was walking around in my day-to-day living and I had a negative feeling, say I felt guilty or I felt hurt, that would be a good moment for me to go, oh, hello, ego, there you are, because it's always the ego that feels those negative emotions. It's not your wise mind. And so I like the whole analogy that Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, brought to the world. And Abraham described the ego, the negative emotions rather, as your GPS, right? Your guidance system. Exactly like the GPS in your car. So when you get a negative emotion, that is a communication from your inner being, as Abraham calls it, to tell you that your higher self, your wiser mind, does not agree with you about the interpretation of the events that you are telling yourself, the story that you are telling yourself. And the negative emotion is the disparity between how your ego self interprets something and how your wise mind interprets something. So anytime you're having negative emotion, except when you're actually in the middle of a conflict, right? Because let's say you were being verbally or physically attacked by somebody, the appropriate thing to feel is anger or hurt, right? Because or fear, right? Because you're literally being threatened by somebody. But after the event was over and you had a couple of hours, say, to calm yourself down and emotionally re-regulate yourself, if you were still feeling that negative emotion, then that is a moment when you can go, that's my ego. My ego is telling me this story that my higher, wiser mind does not agree with. How can I reframe this story? How can I change the story? Tell myself a different story so I don't feel this negative emotion. So for instance, a story that was told to me by someone this morning, that their partner was ignoring their emotional pain, that they were feeling very unhappy and very physically not well, and their partner was watching telly with his feet up. You know, men do that shit, right? No, lack of empathy, I'd call that. But anyway, so she was telling herself the story that he doesn't care about her, and that was bringing her an enormous amount of physical distress and emotional distress. But that's an ego story. So I was able to talk to her and go, well, can we ask if that's really true? I love Byron Katie's work where she says, ask if it's really true. Is it really true that he doesn't care about you? Could I think of 3 reasons why that might not be true? So when you ask someone, can they think of 3 reasons why it might not be true? They could go, well, actually, he's looked after me a lot in the past and, cooked for me and been very caring towards me. He tells me that he loves me and, he is physically present in my house. He doesn't like take off and go to the pub or, go and hang out with other people and physically remove himself. So maybe that means he does actually care because he's physically here. And sometimes that's all men can do, right? They don't know how to deal with emotions, some of them in the same way that other people do. So just keep up that practice, right? As you move forward in your life of observing your ego, catching yourself in those moments of ego when you're telling yourself a story that makes you feel bad, or you're interpreting events in a way that makes you feel bad. You don't have to beat yourself up. Don't rouse on yourself. Don't make yourself feel bad. Don't feel guilty, right? Because what you resist persists. So if you make yourself feel bad about it, you're going to keep that stuck there, that tendency. So what I get people to do is just witness, observe the ego. Just go, oh, there's my ego. Hi, ego. Thanks, but I think I'm going to go to my wiser mind now and change that story, right? Because that's our only power, right? Our only power is to tell ourselves a different story. And in that way, we re-regulate our emotions and we see things from a higher or a different perspective. And that brings us relief from suffering. So remember I said to you, imagine that, your left brain is your ego. That's not true, by the way, but just imagine this, because it's a good practice. Your left brain is your rational mind, analytical mind. That's where your ego is. And you could imagine an avatar of your ego sitting on your left shoulder, and that your right brain, which is your connection to source, your imagination, where you store all your memories and your emotions and all that sort of stuff, that's right brain. And imagine an avatar of your wise mind sitting on your right shoulder. And when you want to do a reading for someone, or you want to re-regulate your own emotions, you say thank you to your ego, but you go to your wise mind and focus on the right side of your brain and focus on your wise mind avatar, which might look like an angel or a spirit or your higher self or whatever you want it to look like. And go to that part and be that part of yourself. And that's the part of you that you want to tune into. Or when you're attempting to intuitively feel into something, you have a question to ask for yourself, you've got a decision or choice to make, or you're doing a reading, that's the part of you that you want to access. Now, the more you practice that and the more you do it, the easier it gets and the more quickly you'll be able to do it. So again, it's a matter of practice. So remember, just witnessing the ego, just noticing when you're in your ego, noticing when you're telling yourself that you look ugly today, or bloody hell, I wish my thighs weren't so fat, or, geez, I shouldn't have said that thing. That's your ego. Okay. So you just witness it. You go, oh, hello, ego. There you are. Thanks, but no. And be, kind to yourself in that way. So I'm going to bring this up. Oh, hang on, I'll stop sharing and I'll just go back to you to see if anybody wants to ask any questions about that whole intuition, wise mind, ego thing. Anybody got any questions about that? Catherine, Kat.
Yeah, hey. This is sort of, you're talking about in general, just to be aware of our feelings and that sort of thing, because do you have to look at that with, say, for instance, when you're doing a reading, whether it's your ego or whether it's a feeling that you feel that's coming up? Because sometimes I feel feelings about things.
The reason this is difficult is because depending on what clairsenses you have, right? If you're clairsentient or clear knowing, maybe it'll come as a feeling, and that will be, your team in spirit giving you that information. But you can't depend on it until you've done the work first.
Yeah.
So you have to do the work. You have to do the work of being able to tell the difference between your ego mind and your wise mind.
So
and
knowing yourself better.
You have to know yourself better. You have to know when you are emotionally dysregulated and when you're in your normal state, right? So this is the work that you have to do in order to make sure that you're bringing through the right information and you're not, getting off the track.
So it's part of the practice.
Yes.
It's practicing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it takes so long for people who are motivated by doing the right thing and wanting to be of service to their brothers and sisters on the planet and wanting to, be in truth, right? It takes a long time to practice these skills. There's a lot of people out there, narcissistic types, who are, Anne-Marie and I were talking about it before, who go, oh, I'm fucking fantastic. I can do anything. I can do readings. Look, I'm going to read for you. And they've done no work on themselves and have no inner awareness whatsoever. There's a lot of those people out there. They're everywhere in every job you could possibly imagine, right? So you don't want to be like that. You want to make sure that you've done the work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else got a question? Has anyone been practicing that ego thing? Has anyone actually been practicing it? Yep. Nairi, do you want to just tell us your experience?
So yeah, sure, thank you. When we did this in, I think it was session 2, yep. I had that real distinct sensation of the left side of my brain is my chatter. Yep. And it's like all my thoughts, it's really weird, but all my thoughts come out of the left side. And I don't know whether it's always been that way or I've just woken to it.
Yes.
And then I've got that right side, which is a softer side. So I've been trying to tune in a little bit more to that, but this is really, the left side's quite loud. So I have noticed, I feel a real sense of difference between, like I can see my ego as part of me, like another person within me, if that sounds right or stable mentally. I don't know, but it's like, oh, that's my ego. I don't know, but it's yeah. So I can see it as a separate part of me that I can go, yeah, okay, then that's my ego, and it's more damaging ego rather than stand up and go rah rah. It's more the reflecting on what I've said and beating myself up about it, or I'm not good enough, or I'm this or I'm that. So that's like, okay, I notice you, and that's okay. I'm all right. And so it's pacifying it, the ego, and just letting it know you're okay, you're safe. We're going to be okay to do this. So
very good, very good.
Exactly.
Because if you have a tendency to insecurity and low self-esteem, or you've been the victim of abuse, your ego is likely to be that. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not good at anything. You know, they're the messages that come from the ego. Now, if you're a narcissist and your coping strategy has been tell everybody how fantastic you are because you're amazing, your ego is going to go the other way, but it's still ego. They're still in their ego. You know, people who are arrogant and self-absorbed and, you know, they're in their ego, right? So it's still ego. It's not wise mind. And I got asked this question this week by someone who said to me, but am I like, it's not schizophrenia, it's not multiple personality disorder to imagine that you've got different aspects inside yourself. This is psychological theory. So there is aspect psychology, right, where we acknowledge that different parts of us have broken off, right, and become fragmented from our whole authentic self as a result of trauma. Right. And that's that little child that gets stuck at 6 years old that always reacts a particular way when something happens that triggers, you know, is similar to and triggers that part of you. It's also called parts therapy. So aspects or parts is, you know, there's a lot of psychological research about it. So it's not a problem. It's not going to hurt you to understand that you do have different aspects of yourself. I mean, think of the fact that when you're in different situations, you play different roles and you behave differently with different people. I am very different with my children than I am when I'm with my friends or when I'm at work or when I'm with a client, right? I bring out different aspects of myself. Now, I'm a multi-dimensional being and I've lived many, many, many other lifetimes, and I've played many, many, many roles across time, space, reality, male, female, gay, you know, warrior, healer, you know, I've done all of those things. You all have, right? So you've got all of those different parts of you that you can bring to play. So it's not going to hurt you to imagine that you know, you have an ego mind and you have a wise mind. That diagram that I showed you, as I said, is from dialectical behavior therapy, which is the only therapy that works with people who have borderline personality disorder, and it's also used on people that have childhood trauma. So it's good. The other thing you can do if you're having trouble quietening that monkey chatter mind is to fill it with blue cool light, right? So blue cool light is a calming, it's like you're freezing it, right? You're putting it to sleep. And so if you're having trouble quietening that ego mind when you want to do a reading, just imagine that left side of your brain filled with blue, cool, ice cool blue light, right? And that you're putting it to sleep in that way. Very good. Anyone else have anyone else used the Anne-Marie? Yep.
Yeah, hi. I've just found, like, through the week too, that a little thing that happened, that the ego is very, very quick to react. And yeah, and that, how do you stop that quick reaction of wanting to fight or flight?
Beautiful question.
Thank
So
you.
if you've had childhood trauma, remember, it's not something you can stop. It's an instinctive, immediate reaction of your reptilian brain at the back, right?
Okay.
And if you've had childhood trauma, then that reaction is hardwired. But we want to be able to tell the difference between a reaction and a response. So reactions are immediate. They come from the ego. They are us in flight, fight, fawn, or freeze mode, right? It's that reptilian brain. So, you know, if you feel yourself flooded in any way with emotion, now remember, when you get flooded from flight, fight, freeze, fawn mode, your body tenses, you breathe shallow in the top half of your chest, you might clench your fists, right? You begin a particular old story that you've told yourself a million times. Well, it's not fair. Why are they doing this to me? I'm a nice person. Yeah, it's usually full of pity and all of that stuff. So you don't speak or act out of that feeling. You don't speak or act out of that energy. If you find yourself reacting, you say to yourself, there you go. There's my ego.
Yeah.
I'll just take some time out before I say or do anything.
Yeah.
And so you might have to say to whatever person is in front of you, if it's a person that's triggered it, I'm sorry, I'm going to need a few minutes. And you could go to the toilet, or you could go to your bedroom or out in the backyard or whatever, right? And do the work on yourself and calm yourself down, emotionally re-regulate, and then allow yourself to respond rather than react.
Yeah, that's right. It was a reaction. I felt that instant, even the name, the instant anxiety attack. And then I thought, I've got to get out of here. And but thank you. That's I'll
if you're at work and you receive an email and you want to react to that email because somebody said something crappy to you, right? Or someone comes up to you at work and says something and you react, just practice saying, okay, I'll need to give that some thought. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Right? Because people usually want an instant response. But if you're someone that easily gets emotionally dysregulated, you need not to do that. You need to practice responding rather than reacting.
And that's what I do. I'm a reactor. So I'm learning, I'm getting better. But thank you so much. That was great.
No worries. Has anybody else been doing any ego observation? Yes, Heidi? You want to share?
Yeah, sure. A little while ago, I found myself having a massive pity party for myself. And so I caught it. I caught myself in the action. I'm thinking, hang on, Heidi, what are you doing? Why are you crying like you're a teenager? You know, you're 20 something years old. You just, you know, crying isn't going to solve anything or help you. Just stop that and just try and figure out what the next steps are. So yeah, it's
beautiful,
really
beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. I used to be the queen of pity parties, and I caught myself one day doing it, and I just stopped. I froze. I was like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? This isn't going to do any good. And I used to imagine like I was wearing the pity cloak and that I could just throw it off, and I'd actually go like that, right? Because there's a big thing too that I hadn't kind of mentioned about body posture that changes. Body posture is a feedback mechanism, right, to your consciousness. So we know that if you hold a power pose for 2 minutes, it changes the chemistry in your body. So if you wanted to feel confident about something, if you stand tall and straight, put your hands on your hips and hold that for 2 minutes, they've done lots of research on this, you start to feel more confident. So in throwing off the cloak, I was, instead of doing, this is what I do when I'm in pity, right? This is what I do. Instead of doing that, I did the opposite, and I threw the cloak off and stood back and stood up and put my head up and felt the power of my, consciousness returning as a result. So thank you for sharing. That's a really
brilliant idea.
Huh?
Thank you. That's a really brilliant idea too.
Yeah. Body posture. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about as far as intuition, using your intuition, any of that stuff before we move on? No? All good. Okay. Let's move forward. What's next? Okay. All right. No, I shouldn't have done that. Hang on. I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so this is from when we were doing that stuff. I gave you this instruction. I'm just showing it to you again because we're going to do a meditation where we're going to go to the Akashic records. Okay, now as part of doing the meditation to the Akashic records, there is lots of information in about the Akashic records for you that I put in there, layered into the meditation. So we'll answer all your questions when you come back. But at a certain point of the meditation, once you're in the Akashic records, you're going to be asking a question for yourself and bringing that information back. And I've asked you to all to have a notepad in front of you and a pen so that you can write down the answer when you come back. One of the things that happens when you go into deep trance for some people is that it's a little bit like a dream. So, when you have a dream, when you come back to wakefulness, for the first few minutes, you might remember the dream as you're coming out of it, but then the dream disappears. And later on that day, you'll try with all your might to remember the contents of that dream that was extraordinary, and you can't get it back because you're in a different state of consciousness, right? So when you come back from your meditation today, I want you to have a notebook and pen in front of you handy so that you can write down the message that you got or the messages that you got from your journey. So I just put this up here again so that you might have some questions that if you can't think of anything that you want to ask, these might be some questions that you might want to ask. Will be good to know, right? What is your soul age? How many lifetimes have you had? What skills did you bring to earth in this focus? Who your soul family is? What is one lesson you came here to learn? What your life purpose is? You can ask anything you like, okay? But this is just a suggestion, okay? So are we good? Because we're going to go into the meditation now. Let me see if this works, if I click it. Okay, are we all good? Ready? So get comfortable. Better if you're sitting up, back straight. You're in a quiet space, close the door so you won't be disturbed. Turn your phone off. I'll turn my phone, make sure my phone's off. Make sure you're muted, guys, just in case anything happens at your end. You won't disturb the others. And hopefully this works. When I start it, can someone nod at me to let me know that you can hear and it's actually working? This is the journey to the Akashic records. Don't listen to this if you are driving. And make sure that you're in a quiet space where you're not going to be disturbed. Sit in stillness. Make sure your back is straight. Your feet are resting firmly on the floor.
palms in your lap facing upward. You may also choose to listen to this laying down, but it's better if you don't actually fall asleep. Relax your body. Take your awareness to the breath. Breathe deeply and completely, all the way down to your belly. And with every breath out, relax more deeply. Tune into your body and just notice anywhere that is holding onto tension. Breathe into that tension and relax. Go deeper and deeper into relaxation and letting go with every breath. Imagine you are standing at the top of a flight of steps. There are 10 steps down, and at the bottom of the steps, you sense a rainforest, a lush, mystical kingdom of light, love, and tranquility, filled with the colours, sights, sounds and sensations that seem to call to you with frequencies of serenity, peace, and calm. We will go down the steps together, and with each step down, you will go deeper into relaxation and trance. Imagine yourself now stepping down one step, feeling more deeply relaxed. Feel and experience a letting go as you step down again. 2, deeper down. 3, feeling everything in body, mind and spirit dropping into a deeper feeling of peace and letting go. 4, more and more relaxed with every breath and every step. 5, down you go. 6, deeper and deeper. 7, that's right. Letting go of everything, all your fears and worries. 8, very deeply relaxed and calm now. 9 and 10. You feel yourself in your very own mystical paradise, a place of magic where everything is possible, a place you can return to at any time that will expand in detail as your imagination takes hold, a place where all of your senses become more fully open with every moment that you spend there. There is a path ahead of you now, winding through your rainforest, Feel your bare feet on the path. Notice all the beauty of Mother Nature around you. Hear the sounds of the creatures, bird song, and sense the intensity of your surroundings. As you walk, you become aware you are carrying a backpack. With every step, you ground yourself more deeply and completely into Goddess Gaia, becoming one with the earth, the flowers, the trees. The atmosphere is so deeply peaceful and relaxing, and you feel safer and more grounded and calm with every step as you use your beautiful imagination to create your surroundings in a way that is perfect for you. Sensing intense beauty and majesty of Mother Nature. The colours, extraordinary, and the atmosphere is so deeply peaceful and tranquil. You feel it penetrating your being down into your core, melting away all remaining tension and stress, all worries and concerns. You are at peace now, grounded, calm, and at one with Mother Earth. As you walk, the backpack on your back begins to feel heavy. It contains all of the thoughts, beliefs, fears, and limitations that are holding you back from fulfilling your true potential and becoming the great psychic you long to be. You need not consciously know exactly what it is in your backpack, what it contains. Trust that your unconscious mind has placed everything that is holding you back inside that backpack. You can trust your unconscious mind, that part of you that knows. And with every step you take, your backpack feels heavier and heavier. You hear the sound of water now as you walk, going deeper and deeper into relaxation with every step. There is a waterfall, a river, and a bridge ahead of you. You feel the light spray of water refreshing you. Allow your imagination to continue to construct this magical kingdom with all the detail you require to make the most of your journey today. Use all of your senses in this experience. Feel, see, hear, sense, taste, smell, and know the truth of what is happening to you right now. You stop on the path before stepping onto that bridge and crossing the river. Your backpack is very, very heavy now, laden with all of the things that are preventing you from stepping into your goddess-given psychic powers. The part of you that is your ego self, your conscious mind steps outside of you at this time, and you will continue across the bridge and on your journey as the more open, powerful part of yourself that is universal mind and spirit. We ask that your ego self take a seat under a nearby tree and wait for your return. As you continue on your journey into the deeper recesses of universal mind and spirit, as you step onto the bridge, there is a knowing deep inside you that this journey will transform you. You feel the profound importance of the steps you take as you walk to the center of the bridge. Your backpack now feels so heavy. Every step is a struggle. You feel weighed down by all the things you have been carrying that have kept you stuck. Now you reach the center of the bridge and you lift the backpack from your back and drop it over the side of the bridge. As you watch it fall into the deepest part of the river, plunging down beneath the surface, its heaviness swiftly carrying it deeper and deeper down into the river beyond your sight, all the way to the bottom, where it lodges itself firmly into the muddy silt and is quickly buried by the force of the rushing and swirling water. It's gone. You continue your journey across the bridge, feeling a lightness in your being now, the immense relief from letting go of everything that has held you back from fulfilling your potential and stepping into those amazing psychic gifts. You came to Earth to express in helpfulness for yourself and others. As you reach the other side of the bridge, you're again in lush rainforest, increasingly transformative, beautiful and surreal. And in the distance as you walk, you see a building. The building is made of light and appears crystalline. It sparkles in the sunlight, and you sense a tangible power emanating from it. As you move closer, you see at the front what appears to be elevator doors. You feel curious, elated, open and excited about what will be revealed to you in this beautiful building of light. There are two ways to enter this building, and you notice to one side an escalator. It's up to you to choose whether you step into the lift or descend via the escalator. One of those two options pulses You feel yourself attracted to the one that is just right for you. You now step into the lift or on to the escalator. You see a sign above indicating that there are 10 floors that you will need to take you down inside this building and down into the depths beneath. You feel yourself descending, and as you descend, going deeper and deeper, you go deeper and deeper into trance. The clarity of your mind becomes sharper, more finely tuned and focused as you relax more and more deeply, going down 10, 9, 8. A feeling of profound peace and stillness envelops you. Time stops. You are deeper in trance and more relaxed and at peace than you have ever been before. 7, 6, 5. Wave after wave of peace running through you, and your mind becomes more and more focused. 4, 3, 2. Your physical body disappearing. You are now becoming a being of light, amorphous, without a clearly defined shape or form, as light as a feather, pure consciousness. And 1, you are at the bottom, and you find yourself in a cavernous room. You move into the room and notice that it too appears amorphous and limitless. Ahead there is a console with a big comfortable chair. As you move towards the console, an incandescent, radiant being of light appears before you. You sense that they are there to be of service in some way. You have that uncanny feeling that you know each other, and that this being of light will play an important role in your journey. You greet each other warmly like 2 old friends. You communicate with each other telepathically. This is the master of the Akash, and they are there to serve as your guide and answer all your questions. You sense that the Master has no particular gender, but instead is a blending of masculine and feminine. They tell you that you are in the Akashic records. This hall of records is beyond space and time. It has no place, but is a vibrational frequency signature where every thought, feeling, choice and experience of every being in the multiverse, their past, present and future, is accessible. You will learn that you can tune into this amazing frequency anytime and anywhere to access the knowledge held in the records, as long as you adhere to the universal laws of the Akash. You are guided to the chair, which is adjustable so you can assume any position that feels right for you. And the Master of the Akash introduces you to the functions of the console and the chair. There is a large screen in front of you with a desk and a dashboard of various dials, controls, and devices. Your console is unique. Everyone's is different. The Master of the Akash shows you how to use the console intuitively and telepathically. And as you practice, on the screen flashes the universal laws of the Akash for you to read. It says you may access your own records at any time, but you may only access the records of another being with their consent and according to the laws of unconditional love, truth, justice, and service for the highest good of all, and that you must always respect the law of free will. The Master explains that every being has their own unique way of accessing knowledge from the universal mind and the Akash. It's part of your journey to find your own unique path to these gifts that are your divine right. And your journey to the unfolding of these gifts has been designed by the Goddess just for you. You can access the present, past, or future with the same ease, for there is no such thing as time in the frequency of the Akash. Into your mind pops a question you would like to ask for yourself about your own journey. You telepathically connect with the console to communicate your question. The Master guides you to trust whatever information comes to you, in whatever way it comes. Perhaps it will appear on the screen in front of you as a movie or written message. The phone on the console may ring and you answer it to receive the answer. A book may appear for you to read about yourself. You may find yourself stepping into the screen to fully experience the answer, or you may blend your energy with another device on your console and receive a download. There are no limits to the way you may receive the information you seek. Allow your higher guidance and imagination to find the way that is perfect just for you. You open all of your senses, knowing that you are one with all that is, and allow your answer to reveal itself. Other information associated with your question may also come. You remember the Master of the Akash is there to give you any help you need. Go ahead now and open yourself to the wisdom of the Akash. the time has come for you to leave the Akash. You give thanks to the Master, knowing you will return here many times, enhancing your abilities every time, and that in this otherworldly, mystical place, you may always find the answers you seek. You step back into the lift or onto the escalator and feel yourself ascending. Presently, you find yourself once more in your very own magical rainforest. You easily follow the path to return to the here and now. With every step, your consciousness returns a little more. You walk across the bridge, past the waterfall, and eventually reach the steps. As you walk up the steps, you remember the answers to your questions, and you bring them back with you into the now moment, into this time-space reality on planet Earth, on this day. When you are ready and back in your body, wriggling your fingers and toes, you open your eyes and record on your notepad in front of you the information you gathered on your journey to the Akashic records. Welcome back.
So from all that writing, I'd say people got lots of messages, which is lovely. Well done. Okay. Who wants to share their experience or message or whatever it is you'd like to share? How was it? How was the journey? And do you have any questions about the Akashic records? Anne-Marie?
I hate going first, but I'll do it.
But you know, you realise they don't, and when you do, then you encourage them to go.
I'll break the ice. That was absolutely beautiful. That was very powerful. I've always been interested in the Akashic records. It's just something that I wanted to learn to do. I asked a few questions and got a few answers. Some of it I didn't quite remember, actually, but I've written down what I did. And I asked about my life's purpose and what's coming up for me in that respect. And I've got, you have come as a healer, healing through mind, body, spirit, through touch, sound, and messages from above. I'm psychic and know things before they happen. But then I also heard predicting world events, but I don't believe that one. So giving comfort to those in need with true and accurate messages, and finally fulfilling your life's purpose and being happy. So
wow,
yeah,
very nice, very good. So you should it sometimes it's hard to believe the stuff that we get, but my suggestion about that is to keep that message somewhere in your journal and come back to it later and read it again, because sometimes you come back to it and you go, God damn, did I actually like that?
Yeah.
And it kind of, you know, has a different meaning. So well done.
Awesome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Akashic Records is really interesting. What I find, you'll find that out there in New Age land, you know, there's all this sort of hoo-ha about, you know, you have to get permission and be activated in the right way and all this bullshit. I don't believe that at all. I've been accessing the Akashic Records forever. I realized after I was doing it, like whenever you're tuning in to someone and you're getting information about them, about their past lives or about, you know, what's going on with them or whatever, you know, their childhood, what are you doing? You're accessing the Akashic Records. Now, you may be accessing those records through your spirit guide, right? Whoever you're channeling or whoever you're connecting with as your guide, maybe, or your higher self, may be giving you that information through your clear senses, but they're getting the information from the Akashic Records. So, you know, I've had lots of sessions with channelers overseas, and I would ask them a question and they would say, one moment, please, you know, because they were going off to get the information from the records, right? So, so I think it's something that, you know, we're all able to do, however you want to describe that to yourself, whether you're tapping into universal consciousness or universal mind or the divine matrix or whatever that is. That's what you're doing. You're getting the information from the Akash, as we like to call it. So well done. Anybody else want to share or have any questions? Yes, Catherine. Yes, yep.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I can't remember now. It'll come back.
Sorry, I'd put my hand up just as you were about to say something, and I was like,
it'll come back.
Interestingly enough, a long time ago, I did this really deep meditation that took me down with an elevator that took me down into like a cave-like thing, and I was in such a deep thing that I actually met like a person there, but for some reason I couldn't speak with them or I couldn't get any information, and I've always wondered who that person was. And I thought one day I'm going to find out who that person is.
Right.
And this person, like I knew this person, and I've thought about it for years and years and years afterwards. I'm like, I really need to find somebody who can get me into really deep meditation so I can go back and meet this person and find out who they are. And I think that this person was my person you know, in the Akashic records, but I just didn't know how to access that or get into that, you know, because as soon as I got in there, I was like, I've seen you before. You're that person that I met in the cave, in my, you know, in my innermost cave.
Yeah.
And so that was really fascinating. So I'm really grateful for that, because I got an opportunity to finally talk with them. And so I went there sort of just asking one question, but for some reason all these other questions spilled out. And in my first question was, what is my life purpose? But it sort of came in a culmination of, you know, this is your soul, you know, this is who you are in your soul. Like say for instance, I'm like a young teenager, early 20s kind of soul. So I know a bit, but I don't know enough. And I've got to here I wrote I've got to revere and understand the ancient ways. I've got to learn from them and be able to teach them. And I'm an earth healer, a connector. I imagine my hands being laid on the earth, and when I looked up, there was all these dark people in the rainforest looking at me that said, "You are one of us." And all I got was, I've got to give the earth a lot of love, something to do with children and love, something to do with creativity and art. I've got to speak to the earth. I've got to give the earth my energy and my encouragement and my strength. And I've got to share the connection of the earth with the humans and our connection with our belonging to the earth. And that's what I got from it.
Beautiful. So is that new information for you, that you have this deep connection with the earth?
Not really, because I've always felt my energy with the earth. So, and I do silly things, probably not silly to you guys, so I can share it with you. But I believe that you can talk to plants.
Yes.
Right? So when you go,
my mother taught me that.
When you go, like, you know, you give your energy, as plants have energy and you have energy. And so if I'm bushwalking or something and I come across a tree that catches my eye, that's magnificent or beautiful or weird or odd or something, I'll actually lay my hands on them and say, "You are a magnificent tree." You know, grow really strong, you know, look after the birds, grow your roots deep and look after the community around you. And so I try and give good vibes. And I've been doing that for a while. Because it's sort of just a little silly thing for me, and I think, well, even if some people think it's silly, it's not really. Like, I feel like, you know, well, the earth supplies me stuff, then surely I've got to supply the earth something.
Yeah.
So I've always had that weird little thing, but I've not ever, and I've always been really protective of the environment and that sort of thing, but I haven't been like real serious or anything like that. And I probably need to get a little bit more serious. And I'm very much into ancient things, like ancient beliefs, and that I believe that the ancient people had a lot more knowledge than what we have today, and that a lot of that knowledge has been lost. And I feel like if you look at, say, for instance, our Aboriginal people, and their spirituality is actually really deep and connective, and there's more depth to it than what people talk about. I feel like the song lines, there's more to do with the song lines than just songs and stories and that sort of thing. There's more depth and more connection and that sort of thing. So I think ancient people still have that sort of thing, but we've lost a lot of that.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, many people were sent to Earth or incarnated at this time because, you know, we have a crisis looming about the planet and about what we're doing to it, right? So there are a lot of people who have incarnated just to hold the energy of the planet and to, you know, help in that way. It doesn't sound silly to me at all, because my mother, as I've said to you before, was very psychic. And she had an incredible green thumb. She could grow anything, and her gardens always looked beautiful. But she used to talk to her plants, and she'd walk around, and every afternoon she'd get the hose out and she'd water them, and she'd kind of reach out and touch them and talk to them. And I just naturally did the same thing. So I've always had a really good green thumb too, which I've managed to hand on to my daughters. But the same thing. And if you read that book, it's an old book now, but it's called The Celestine Prophecy. And it's only a thin book, but it's a good read. And they talk about how they project their energy into the plants and into their garden, and that's how they're growing their garden. You're giving it your energy, right? Every time you're talking to it or touching it or watering or loving it or appreciating it, you're giving it your positive energy, and that's why it grows. So that's beautiful. I'm interested how people got their messages, you know, like I left that open so that, you know, you could use all of your clear senses or however, any way it came to you. So I'm interested in how, Catherine, for instance, how did you get your information from the console?
I'm a very creative person and I have a very big imagination. So it doesn't surprise me in the way that it came to me. You mentioned a console. And I couldn't put that into like a sci-fi type of thing for me. Mm-hmm. So I went into a deeper forest sort of thing, which I felt more connected to, and that sort of thing, where my Akashic guide was and that sort of thing. And so I visualized. I scanned through different things and visualized things, and that took me through a journey and a story, and answered my questions along the way, sort of thing. Like
okay, so what would you say your clear senses are?
I very much imagine situations, but I feel like maybe they have meaning behind them.
Right. So do they come to you?
I feel feelings and emotions.
So clairsentient.
Yep. I smell stuff. Like I can smell.
Clairsmellience, as I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what my different clairs are. Yeah.
Okay.
And I can see people appear to me like a dream kind of thing.
Okay. Yep. So that's visual. So you're kind of clairvoyant, clairsentient sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? I'd like to hear how you got your information from the console. Anybody? Nairi?
Yeah. So I struggled when I got to the console.
Right.
But I have a handyman in the house. I've got 3 kids and got cats at the door. So I kind of kept on losing my focus.
Okay.
So I was trying really hard. But then I heard in the music a bell. And immediately the sound of that bell took me to another lifetime. And it sounded like a Tibetan bell. And so I just saw myself in this Tibetan village. And then I was scooted to another part of the world, and I was in Canada, on the west coast of Canada. So I think I was seeing past lives.
So you were having a past life experience. Cool.
Yeah. So, but it was the sound of the bell that drew me straight to those places. Yeah. So that was my experience.
Very good.
Desperately trying to stay in the meditation and not.
I noticed you fidgeting a little bit. Catherine was probably fidgeting more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to remember that when you're fidgeting and you're scratching and moving and all that sort of stuff, that's your ego resistance. Like your ego doesn't like change, right? Your ego doesn't want you to heal. It wants everything to stay the same. And so that's just a little bit of ego resistance. And the only way to overcome that is by repeating it, keep doing it. So that meditation is actually on YouTube, and I'll put the link there for you so you can get it, but I'll also send you the link to download it so that you can put it on your phone from Google Drive, so that you can practice with that as many times as you want to. Perhaps when, you know, you haven't got the tradesman in the house and the kids running all over the place, and you can focus a little bit more, you know. And this isn't necessarily, you know, a great way to do it either. You're probably better doing it in the comfort of your own bedroom or something, or some safe space at home where you're not going to be disturbed. Heidi, how did you get your information from the console?
Actually, I struggled a bit myself. What was really ironic is that for the visualizing of everything that you were speaking, it was fine. Visualizing the paradise and the going down, and even the Akashic records. But when I got to the console, my question was, what's my soul age? And I couldn't feel it, I couldn't see it. I was trying so hard to see it using my visual sense, because I could see everything else. It was so hard to see. I couldn't come to me. So I thought, okay, I might try like another question or something. So I just got a bit of information to me, but I think it was like knowing, like it was sort of like a feeling, like it was
clear cognizant.
Clear cognizant, yeah.
Good, but you got an answer.
Yeah, I got a few little like nits and bits saying there's a lot of light and shedding of old negative energies and people that I do, and there's a great news and positive energy with I have like this little entrepreneur idea I want to do, and it said it's a good thing that I'm airing out here in France, because me being here in France for more than a year now, I've sort of got to really know who are my friends, and I can count my friends on one hand. So like, you know, good five girls, or really one close good friends. And
big difference between friends and acquaintances. We need to learn that, the differentiation.
Precisely. So it's been really good to sort of like know like who are my close ones and who do, you know, just acquaintances and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been good.
Very good. Lisa, how did you go getting information from the console?
I was basically so tranced out. I really didn't get much information. I was really there, really tranced out, but it didn't want to answer. It was like, you're not ready for that.
Okay.
And it was just very interesting. It did say I was an old soul.
Yes, we know that.
And it was just really, it was sort of like saying wait, but not really in a big way. But I wasn't also pushing for answers for some reason. I was just so out there, it didn't really matter.
So you do trance really well. You go into deep trance, and sometimes that's what happens. You go so deep that it, you know, you kind of start to drift into sleep, you know. But you know, I would say practice with it more for all of you. You know, use it as a practice to kind of, you know, practice. And what I'd use it for, if I were you, apart from the fact that, you know, you're getting used to using the Akashic records to do readings for anyone, but, you know, if I was going to read for myself, I would always use a pendulum or cards or that, right? That if I had a question I wanted to ask for myself, or I needed guidance for myself, or a decision to make, I would do that, because you're getting your ego out of the way and you're putting yourself in that trance-like state where your guides can actually come through and give you information in whatever way that's right for you. You know, the console is just one idea. There are many ways to do this, obviously. The console is just one idea because it kind of encapsulates in, you know, all of your clair senses could happen. You know, someone could come into the records apart from the master of the Akash and give you the answer. You know, there's many ways that it can happen, but yes, certainly practice. Anne-Marie, how did you get the information from the console?
I think it was clear knowing. the information, I just I can't even remember if I heard it or saw it. I just knew it. So yeah, that's how I get it. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Very good. Okay, so the recording was okay for you all. That's the first time I've done it that way. You know, this has been really good for me because, you know, every time I've taught psychic development classes before, I've always done it when I've had them here in my hat, actually, to them at home. I've never done it online like this. So good old COVID, you know, makes you do things that you haven't done before. So was the recording okay? Did that work for you all okay? Yep, good. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do some readings now that you're in the vibe. We're going to do some readings and I'm going to be your first guinea pig. Okay, so I'll put my hand up to go first. So let's do readings. Use whatever works for you. You can use cards. You can use whatever works for you. Have your notepad in front of you. You can do that empathy thing that we did before where you step into my body. Okay, to see if you can pick up anything. And let's remember that whenever we're doing readings, no medical readings are against the law. I actually heard from someone the other day that someone in Melbourne got arrested and charged for doing a psychic for doing medical readings. So be careful not to do that. That includes pregnancy, by the way. We don't do that. All readings should be uplifting, but that doesn't mean to say that we're not going to mention a challenge or a catalyst or an opportunity for learning that comes up, because that's what it's all about, right? That's what we're doing it for. So I'll be the guinea pig. I'll give you a couple of minutes to tune into me or use your cards or do whatever feels right for you. Write whatever comes to you down on your notepad and yeah, read me. How's that sound? I'll give you 2 minutes maybe. Okay, so remember that when you're reading for someone, they're an important part of the process. They can stop you from reading them by being too skeptical, being too shut down and closed off. You know, some people don't want to give you any information. You know, they say things to you like, you'll notice when I put those free readings on, if you have a look at them, people ask questions like, you know, that thing I was thinking about yesterday that I'm thinking of doing, should I do it? And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? So, you know, people can stop themselves from getting read. So, you know, remember when it's your turn to have a reading, you need to open yourself up. I always, for some reason, put my palms up, open yourself up and just set your intention for the information to be given today for yourself to be read. You're kind of opening your energy up, opening up your heart chakra as you do that. So who wants to go first? Tell me what you got. Lisa?
Okay. I just got trivial little stuff.
All good. Nothing's wrong, right? It's all good.
Just little things. I got a feeling you're going to Adelaide within 2 months or in 2 months.
Okay.
You're going to an event and you're not sure what to wear. You got to wear the flowery, beautiful, colourful, vibrant dress shawl thing.
Okay.
It's like got peacocks on it or birds of paradise or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
An old man next door who lives next door, he's got throat issues. I don't know, told you it was weird.
Yep. Okay.
Missing a sister. Now, either you're missing a sister or someone you know is really missing a sister.
No, I'm missing a sister. I'm estranged from my sister. She's got borderline personality disorder and she's a rampant alcoholic, and
yeah,
I had to distance myself from her, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's a deep missing of a sister.
Yes, I
I
miss her very much.
Yeah.
She's my little sister. She's 7 years younger than me.
And you're wanting to swim more, but you don't, and you should.
True.
And that's
true.
In the ocean.
True.
I can see you cooking with a crock pot, and you're going to this week cook something in a crock pot and looking over it, smelling it, going, shit, that's good.
Okay.
Your air conditioner behind you, your air filter needs cleaning. And I get the thing, these two things, ho-hum, like just ho-hum. I don't know where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're singing, We All Live in a Yellow Submarine.
The Beatles, one of my favorites. Well, I think the ho-hum thing is that, you know, like it's like feels like my que sera. A lot of the time I just go, oh, well, nothing I can do about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just, ho-hum. It's
acceptance.
Yeah.
It is what it is sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Good. That was lovely. Thank you.
But I bet you are going to go to Adelaide. I know you don't think you are, but I think you are.
I was actually thinking the other day of going to Adelaide, so you're not far off. I was kind of thinking to myself, gee, I'd like to go to Adelaide. I haven't been there for a long time. So yeah.
And there is an old guy who lives with an elderly lady as well, who lives like next door or something.
Yeah.
And really, truly, he's got throat issues.
Oh, okay.
They're about to come up. He hasn't actually got.
I have got an old lady and her husband living next door. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Throat issues.
Who else would like to have a turn? Anne-Marie.
Okay. It's your time for things to go smoothly. You're a kind soul, but being pushed from pillar to post. Finally found inner peace and the self-love that you so deserve. A new friend coming into your life when you least expect it, and he drives a ute and it's red. And I know you don't think that's going to happen, but anyway.
Well, a friend. I'm open
you,
to friends.
Yeah, a male friend, and you'll be ready for that. So,
is this a romantic connection or is it a friend?
No, it's romantic.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing smooth about your life until now, when all the speed humps get flattened out, and it's time to accept all that was and embrace all that will be.
Beautiful, wonderful advice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to have a turn? Catherine, yep.
Yeah, I visualized flying over the ocean, and I smelt the sea air, and I sensed that this is somewhere where you feel that you belong, somewhere that you really love, somewhere that, you know, it's your place, sort of thing. I also saw a garden with lots of flowers, and I smelt the flowers, but I felt like that had to do with your mother, and I wasn't sure whether that's because you already shared that with me, or yeah, so but I just thought I'd share that anyway. I feel like you I think you're a very loving person, but to do, like, deep within you, you have a desire to love and be loved, and I know that we all have that, but at the moment you have a real deep desire to be loved.
True.
To love and be loved. like it's really within you, like you're ready, like you're like, come on, you know.
Yeah, when's my turn?
Yeah, but like it's deeper than just that surfacey, oh, I wish I had somebody, you know. Like it's a real deep, like, you know, I've got all this love to give and I just need somebody to, you know, yeah, that sort of thing. The feeling of patience came up, and I don't know what that's associated with, but I feel like I need to share that with you. You're a very confident person, in terms of a lot of your outward and your work and your social and that sort of thing, but deep down inside you there's elements of issues of self-confidence where you doubt yourself a little bit, and I feel like you need to somehow connect them together in order for your self-confidence to, so you're a naturally self-confident person, but this little bit of lack of self-confidence in yourself, yeah, you somehow need to be able to tie them together, but I don't have the answer to do that. So.
Good. Thank you. Heidi, how did you go?
I'm a little bit embarrassed what I got. Like I could probably be.
No embarrassment here. We're all learners.
I got from you a strong woman and dominating in the bedroom.
I wish. I haven't had sex for about 6 years. So.
Well, like it's, you know, it's like it's maybe it's your style then or something.
Yeah, I used to be when I was younger. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? No. Nairi, how'd you go?
So I raced off and got cards of my pendulum, and I don't know whether I was meant to do that or not. So
no, you can do it any way it works for you, darling.
So when I came back, everybody was head down and it was very quiet. So I kind of scrambled just to do my own thing in case I missed some directions. But anyway, I got that there's something that you're questioning at the moment. And as I was shuffling the cards, I kept on sticking together. So I don't know whether there's a sticky situation that you need answers for. And that's the only two things I've got written down. And then I drew cards, and I got the look into your heart to know the truth of the situation. And then I've got notice the signs, that there's signs being dropped around whatever this question is that's a little bit sticky, and that they're definitely signs of coming from heaven. And then I've got the entrepreneur card came up, and that was working for yourself and allowing allows you to follow your intuition and your divine guidance. So I don't know if any of that resonates or makes sense.
It all does, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've all done really well. We're gonna do some more readings, okay? So when Lisa comes back, hey Lisa, we're gonna go into breakout rooms, and so you should be in a room. I've never done this before, but this is apparently well, I've been in breakout rooms before. I've never actually done it from my end, so I hope it works. But what should actually happen is we should all end up in a room with someone, and so you're going to read for each other while you're in that room. So I'll give you 10 minutes to do that. So that's plenty of time to.
Sorry, I need to go to the toilet real quick.
Okay, yep. Anyone needs to go to the toilet, do that real quick. And how long? 10 minutes. Or what time is it? It's 12:47. So I'm going to set the alarm for 10 minutes, and then I'll bring you back from the breakout rooms. Okay, so give me a minute. I'll just press the fancy breakout room button and see what happens here. Hello.
Hi.
Not me.
Oh, do I? Cool.
Well, there's 6 of us, so we all go into breakout rooms, and yeah, you press the button and it just puts everyone in a different breakout room. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a reading for you since we're here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then
sorry,
answer any questions, because you've missed a few of the sessions we've had, haven't you?
The last one I missed because I've been really sick.
Yes, I can hear that you're sick.
Yeah, I'm still sick. I've been sick for like a week and a half, and I'm still sick, and I'm gonna have to take more time off work. So I haven't been able to do a lot of the things.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. But it's all online, darling, so you can go back and do it again and again and again.
I know. I actually am going to try and start again and do it again and see if I can.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. There's a lot of
things I want to put into practice, which I think will actually just be good, just generally for my own mental health, rather than for a specific purpose. But yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. So just about the meditation thing. So you thought your meditation went okay, even though you were kind of appeared to me to be a bit restless. Where you were still deep.
It's because I'm sick and my throat was itchy.
Yes.
But I still managed to sort of go back into it, and that's. I probably should do it again and then see and ask the same questions again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, ask me now. Whatever questions
what do you mean?
You can ask me now, and I'll bring through the answer for you. How does that sound?
Okay.
So what questions have you got?
In terms of my Akashic records, or just in general?
Anything you want to ask.
Okay, so I have a fear of changing my career, but I feel like it's my career that's sort of holding me back. Is it my job?
Okay, so how old are you, Catherine?
I'm 43.
Okay, and what career are you doing at the moment?
I work in a school.
Okay, what do you do in a school?
I work in a hearing support class. Okay. I love what I do.
Like a teaching assistant?
Yeah, and I just feel like I won't give you too much information.
Okay, all right. Let me just tune into it, because Mark's coming through really strongly. So I'll just tune into what she's bringing through. Okay, so you're right. This atmosphere that you are in is not necessarily the right one for you to be in, and you're feeling that difference or disparity in vibrational frequency between who you've become and what you can do. And what you're actually doing at the moment. So there is a new career coming up around you. There is something that you're going to be doing, but it's not necessarily tomorrow. This is something that is going to evolve over a period of time, because I feel like you need to do some more training. You need to do some more study and some learning around what it is that you're going to do. So
do you have any more information along the lines of what that might be? Like, I know
you're not getting any intuitive information coming up inside you about what you'd like to do.
It could be several things. That's the thing.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of, if you could.
Okay. So all right. So hang on a minute. So I'm using two aspects of my mind here, because I'm getting the impressions, and then because I was a high school careers advisor for 23 years,
yeah,
my rational analytical mind comes in and goes, does that have legs in third dimensional reality when it comes to careers?
Yeah.
Okay, because what I'm actually getting is you working more with nature and animals. But my rational mind is coming in and going, well, that's all very well, but it's practically impossible to get jobs in that field. Okay. So I'm feeling that that is something that you will be doing as a more volunteer thing or a recreational thing. It's not actually something that's going to be bringing you money, right?
That's actually interesting, because I've been thinking about doing volunteering in that area.
Yes. And so the impression that I'm getting is that it's volunteering that you're going to be doing. Like, are you in Newcastle?
I'm in Maitland area, but I grew up in Newcastle. So
yeah. Right. Because what I'm getting is the Hexham. There's a wildlife centre at Hexham.
No way.
That's coming up. Why?
No, that's really cool, because you know what I was thinking of volunteering at? The Botanical Gardens.
Yes.
Which is just, just past Hexham near Raymond Terrace.
Yes. So something, it's something in that area that's coming up that I feel you actually doing, and that's like really feeding your soul. So this is really soul work for you, and that's
not the career thing though. That's something that I need for my soul.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's not money making.
I've been seeking that. Yeah.
So it's not.
In terms of the new career though.
Yeah. So tell me which things you're thinking of.
Okay. I feel like I'm not designed for 5 days a week work. I know that sounds really bad. I'm a hard worker. I can work a long day, but I just need like an extra day for like a weekend, or an extra day to do something that feeds my soul.
Yeah.
Right. And I currently work 5 days a week. I'm in a really good position because I get paid holidays and I get available sick pay. I'm set for life financially. I'm in a good place and that sort of thing. And I'm very reluctant to give something like that up.
Been there. Yeah. I left $100,000 a year teaching job.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I'm very sort of the person that looks to the future. I need to make sure that I'm all right in the future. So I need money going into my superannuation.
Yes.
And I need money saving up to get a property with my partner and all that sort of thing. So I'm very reluctant to give that up because
it's security and safety.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sort of seeking, like, because I know that the amount of time I'm at work I'm not happy with, and I'm wondering whether that.
Okay, so what I'm being told is that you need to be flexible in your approach to this. There is no reason why you can't keep doing the type of work that you're doing, maybe not in exactly the same place, but the type of work that you're doing a couple of days a week or, you know, 2 or 3 days a week or 4 to continue that what you're doing. But I'm definitely feeling that there's some study that you're going to be doing where you're going to be going into some sort of work that is more soul oriented, more kind of healing, you know, something to do with that sort of thing. But of course that kind of stuff has to be built up. You can't rush in. Like I always say to people, don't leave your day job and just throw yourself into some entrepreneurial thing, because you need both. And so that's what I'm feeling with you, because when you first asked me that question, I was getting a couple of years. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight.
I'm aware of that. Has it got to do with being creative?
Well, you see, when you say that to me, everything that we do is creative. You know, creating isn't just painting and writing and sculpting. And, you know, someone said to me, one of my mentors said to me years ago, oh, you're very creative. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. Couldn't draw for nuts, couldn't paint a picture if my life depended on it. You know what I mean? And they said to me, no, but you're really creative in the way you solve problems, in the way you dress and present yourself, in the way you...
That's what I say to my partner too.
The way you make your house, in the way you approach life. Like I'm really creative because I'm always tuned into my imagination.
Yes,
and I think I'm very eclectic in my thinking. And I'm getting the same thing with you. No matter what you do, you're going to bring a creative aspect to it, because that's, you know, the way your energy works from that perspective. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if you've got anything specific that you're
more.
thinking of doing that you want to, you said there were 7 things. So what specifically are you thinking?
Several things, I said. I'm sort of more thinking, because I studied graphic design, and I know I've got a lot more to learn, and there's so much that I can do with it in terms of, you know, like I could do illustration, or I could do, you know, I've thought to do native plants on cards, or you know, like connecting with the earth, making a little comic or something, you know, like you know,
but what and I feel that's a very high potential for you. But what you need to understand is that you need to learn the thing first. So even though you've got this incredible creativity you're going to bring to it, you're going to have to go and do a course in, you know, graphic design or something. There's some course there for you to do. It's an online thing. Like I feel you like you're doing it in your own time, and it's something you're going to be doing in your spare time that you can do. Remember, what they're saying is that we're talking about a long future still of your career, and one thing tends to add on top of the other. So it's a gathering together of skills and abilities that are an expression of your soul energy and who you really are, and then you make it into something that is uniquely yours. Does that help?
Write that down.
Yeah. So that's what I'm feeling for you.
I got another question.
Yep.
That it's different to this one.
Yep.
My mum passed away in 2018, and I haven't heard from her in a while, and so usually she leaves me feathers and that sort of thing. I don't know if you've got any information.
Well, you know, as I said to you, I'm not a medium, so I don't talk to dead rellos.
Yeah.
So that's not really my area of expertise. So I'm going to leave that one with you.
Okay, that's fine.
So, you know, this is good practice for you, because people will ask you all sorts of questions, and they don't understand that, you know, just because you're psychic or you've got these gifts or abilities that we specify in certain things. We all have different gifts. So, you know, you've got to be able to speak up for yourself and say that sort of thing. But actually our time's up, and we're going to go back to the group now.
No worries.
If I can work out how to do that, because I can't see what's going on here. So let me.
Thank you for that.
No worries. No worries. I don't even know how to do this. How do we go back to the main room? Or go to breakout rooms. Broadcast a message to all. I'll just give it a minute because I've just given them a message to come back. And they can just finish off their readings. I'll just give them a minute to do that. Unmute. They should have all come back to the main room because oh, there they are. Hello, everyone. How was that? Can you all?
That was great.
Unmute? Tell me how that went. Is me trying to press a button and go, what the hell's going on? Okay, was it all right? Did it work?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, so you got to do readings for each other.
Yeah.
Now, our time is up, but I'm happy to stay if you want to do that again. You want to do some more readings, or do you want me to answer more questions for you in the, whatever time we've got left?
I have to go because I'm already late for a lunch thing.
Okay, all right, sweetie. Okay.
Go. So thank you, everybody. Lovely to meet you all, and take care. And
bye, Lisa.
Okay, see you, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.
What about everybody else? Do you want to do some more readings?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Lisa just told me that my sister might be having a boy.
Yeah.
It's really cool. A nephew. I'm going to have a nephew.
Yep.
Am I allowed to tell my sister that, or is it should I just?
You could share it with her as a kind of entertainment factor.
Okay.
I had this reading the other day, and this psychic told me you weren't going to have a boy. Because everybody does that when people are pregnant. They go, I think you're having a girl. I think you're having a boy. So yes, I would, not in a serious way, but in a light-hearted way, I would share it.
Cool. All right, awesome. Because she's not pregnant at all at the moment, but yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we never know when that's going to happen. That's why pregnancy questions are so difficult, because people always want to know the when question. They go, when is this going to happen? It's very hard to say when, because, there is no time in spirit. And so we're creating our own reality. And particularly when it comes to pregnancies, there are biological issues. There's the issue of the soul that's incarnating under the right star sign. When they're ready, there's all sorts of, it's a very complex co-creation of the energies of the mum and the dad and the soul. And so, it's really impossible to say when that's going to happen. Anybody else got a question?
Yeah, cool.
I do.
Anne-Marie.
Why do I struggle so much reading face to face?
I would say just intuitively it's because of self-esteem and insecurity, right? And it's just one of those things that you've got to get over. So what you're saying to me is, when you're doing a reading online and you're kind of no one's looking at you and you're behind the scenes, you feel so much better than when you're actually face to face with somebody. So that's insecurity. All women are insecure about the way we look. Put your hand up if you're not insecure about the way you look.
Oh no, I am. Definitely. Yeah. So I just freeze up. Like even with Nori just then, like I got messages out, but it was it's just not having the confidence to trust what I'm saying.
Yes. So the only way you get that confidence is time and practice.
Okay.
Right? You got to keep. And don't forget, what are nerves? Everyone feels nerves when they're doing something that they haven't done before. That it's not anxiety. Everyone says, "Oh, I got anxiety. There's nothing wrong with me." No, it's normal to feel nervous when you're doing something you haven't done before, or when you're doing something new, or you're going somewhere new, or when you're talking to particular people in authority. It's normal to feel nervous. So I'm a feel the fear and do it anyway kind of person. You don't let that stop you. Right, so you've got to kind of push yourself over that And you know, it's if you feel nervous doing something, it's usually the first time or the second time, but after you've done it several times, you lose those nerves, right? Because you've got experience behind you. Oh, well, I already did it 3 times and it was okay, nothing bad happened, you know. You know, but you know, shit happens. Like I had this session on Thursday or Friday, with this woman who had contacted me, and I spent an enormous amount of time even getting her to make an appointment. She wanted a practice Zoom session because she didn't know if she could make it work. And I could tell that she was really highly strung and nervous. And, you know, I probably spent nearly an hour backwards and forwards messages, just getting her to the point of making an appointment, right? Which was just bloody annoying because it's like, you know, you don't get paid for that time. You've got other things to do, and you know, it's annoying anyway. Then she paid for the appointment. She was 15 minutes late to the appointment. So I sat in front of the computer for 15 minutes. Are you okay? Where are you? You know, she finally turns up, and she was in a really bad way. She was suicidal. She was isolated. She was a 62-year-old woman with no husband, no family, no children, unemployed. You know, it was a really terrible, terrible situation. So I ended up spending 2 hours with her after she'd been 15 minutes late. I spent 2 hours with her. And at the end of the session, when I said, look, I'm sorry, darling, I'm going to have to go, because by this time it was like 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, right? Was it yesterday? Yeah. And I said, look, I'm going to have to go. You know, I tried to round the session out by, you know, giving a positive reinforcement and blah, blah, blah. You know, telling her, referring her to a couple of books to read. She got stuck up me for the rent. She whooped into me. She burst into tears and started crying. And is that all you got to fucking say to me? Read a book. And I was like, well, wait on. There's 2 hours of reading. And I said to her, this isn't a counselling session, because she spent most of the time talking. She was one of those people, you know, I said to you, they talk all the time and you can't get a word in edgewise. And so, you know, I said to her, this was not a counseling session. I'm giving you a psychic reading here, right?
Wow.
So, you know, and she abused the hell out of me. And I spent another 15 minutes online with her after she started abusing me, trying to talk her down off the ledge, because I realized she was, you know, in a really bad way. And then she hung up on me. And I was like, right, okay, up you, Rhea.
Wow. That's terrible.
And I was really triggered, and I had to go and have a glass of wine, and you know, I was really upset because I thought, if I done the wrong thing, if I said the wrong thing, could I have done that better? And you know, and I listened to, you know, the last half an hour of the recording again, and well, no, actually, I think I did a pretty good job, and she's a nutcase, you know.
Yeah, you probably nothing you were going to say to her was gonna fix anything, or
no.
You know.
And she had no friends, and it alienated all of her family, all of her neighbours, all of her friends, all of her, you know. So it was it's
like a prickly pear.
Yeah, it's a prickly pear. But you know, like, so, you know, bad stuff happens when you start reading for people. They're not always thankful and grateful, but mostly they are. So it's just a matter of practice to get over whatever nerves you've got. It takes time, you know.
Yeah, I've got to just kick the bucket and do one. Or before I kick the bucket, I've just got to start doing them face to face, and then do it that way. Can I also ask, like, when we're ready to start reading for people, paid readings, do you have a price guide? Not your price guide, but what to charge as a new reader? Okay,
well, as a new reader, I would say charge very little. So, you know, do whatever you think is, you know, you got to understand that when you give things away for nothing, people don't appreciate them.
Yeah.
And people in our culture think that if you're really expensive, like I had a client yesterday, him and his partner have been clients of mine for years. And he said she's now working with someone else. Like I worked with her for about 4 years. She's now working with someone else in California. I said, oh, cool. You know, who is it? Oh, he said somebody famous that she's paying thousands of dollars to, right? And I went, oh, well, shit, they must be good then. Because we've got this belief in our society that if it's expensive, then you're really good. And it's not true. And I've had readings, as I said to you, I do it all the time. I'll have I wonder what that person's like. They're famous. I'll have a reading with them, and being very disappointed, even though they charge lots of money, they were no better than any other reader. Oh, yes. And they didn't really give me what I wanted. And I, you know.
Yeah.
So
I've actually travelled to to Brisbane and had a reading with someone that was quite famous on Facebook, and it was an absolute biggest waste of time I've ever
but the point is, if you don't charge much for your readings, that sometimes that's what some people will think, that you're shit. Right? So you have to set a price. You can make it a special price, limited time only. I'll answer a question for $10, or I'll give you a 20-minute reading or a 15-minute reading for $25 or something. I'd start out like that. I wouldn't say, look, this is my price. In fact, I'd probably set a higher price. If you're going to do readings, you need Facebook page, website, all that sort of stuff. I probably set my price at, you know, the normal, whatever it is, $80 or $100 is usually around about what people charge for an hour. It's anywhere from, you know, kind of $80 to $150. That's usually the, you know, the normal range in Australia for a reading. And I'd probably set my price in the middle there somewhere, but I'd put a special out, you know. It's February special time. I'm going to do readings for, you know, $20 just to get clients in and get yourself some experience.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else with a question?
I was just going to say, Anne-Marie read for me, and she picked up on exactly what I've been going through over the last 2 years. So it was amazing.
There you go. Great feedback.
It was.
Very good.
I find that I still, like when I came to read Anne-Marie, that I'm very intimidated by doing the tune in and wait for messages to come. So I asked her if she had a question, and we went on to answer that question, and I pulled a card for her, but I feel guided to the card deck to use, and that.
Look, there's nothing wrong with that in the beginning. There's nothing wrong with using your cards to focus your awareness, right? So don't feel bad about that, because some people never stop using cards, right? They're tarot readers and they continue to use cards all the time. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's certainly, I know what you mean, because in the beginning, you know, because I have to focus and bring Mart in when I'm doing readings, it takes time. Sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes it takes a few more minutes than it would have another day, right? There's no telling what's going on there. And I used to feel uncomfortable about that. And again, it's just practice. I stopped feeling uncomfortable, because you don't want to say something if there's nothing coming through. And some people are hard to read. And some people do block their energy, you know what I mean? And so I found that you can always say something, right, in the beginning to kind of get things going. And it's a little bit like, you know, automatic writing. If you get stuck, start writing anything and it starts to flow a little bit more. So I would say the same thing when you're doing a reading. You know, just say, look, I'm sensing, or I'm feeling, or this is what's coming through, blah, 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 whatever. You know what I mean? And usually that'll got to kind of get you over that little hump and get you going.
You did really well, Nairi. You did great.
Thank you.
No worries, Dom.
We didn't finish it, but
No, you did good.
Thank you.
We kind of always run out of time, don't we?
Yeah.
How was your reading, Heidi? Did you manage to do a reading? Who did you get paired up with? Lisa?
I got Lisa. I used my cards. She was did a really good reading on myself. She told me that she feels a lot of love from my mum to me, like so much, like she's holding me, like she's holding the world for me. And it's so true. I actually started tearing up a lot when she said that. I was like, oh my God, because having like a Latino mom, like she's incredibly overprotective. I had to almost like freaking leave countries, you know, to even get away from her overbearing lovingness. But you know, that was spot on. And she said something about us kind of like running away from something, and she was kind of right. She was right about that, I guess. But now I've sort of been able to let go of a certain relationship, which is actually, I came to France because I was in love with a French boy, which didn't work out, but I met another French boy. So that's all. I
love French boys. Ooh la la, that accent.
Something about the French, isn't it?
How did you go reading for Lisa, Heidi?
I used my cards and I pulled out these, the world.
Yes.
Which is,
they look like nice cards too.
Oh yeah, cool. Thanks. Yeah, they're a bit new. I got them from Etsy. And the High Priestess for
yes,
her,
High
which is
yeah, that's Lisa.
She follows her.
Yeah,
herself. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So, so what I needed to say to you was the Healing Your Negative Emotions course. Once you've finished the course, you contact me and say, can we set up an appointment? It's a 30-minute session that I offered as part of that course, just to talk personally with you about your emotional, psychological life, your personality questionnaire, anything that you want to talk about that comes for you out of that course. So that's still there for you as a private session with me. And so how do we feel about getting together once a month to keep practicing? Obviously, I'd have to charge for that, but how do we feel about doing that? Is that something that people would be interested in doing?
Yeah.
Is Sunday morning at this time okay for that? Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll set something up in a month's time and put that out there as an offering. Yeah. So, it won't be recorded and uploaded because it'll be practice time for us to practice and answer questions and all that sort of stuff. Because I think, I gather that the reason that people were reticent to get online and actually do readings on Facebook or Instagram is you're not quite there yet, and that's completely okay. So obviously more practice is going to help you with that. So we might get together once a month and just do a bit of practice, hey? All good? All right, my darlings, that'll be it for today. And thank you so much. I feel so blessed. I've really enjoyed this. It's been a real learning experience for me because, as I said, I've not done it before on Zoom, and I've had to do that I hadn't done before. So I do readings on Zoom all the time. I'm always working on Zoom, but doing this is slightly different. I've had to learn some new skills along the way. So I've got a lot out of it too, and it's been lovely spending time with all of you guys. You're all beautiful, and I think you're all going to, really step into your gifts. So keep practicing with that recording that we did today, and keep going forward.
Thank you, Ria. That was an absolutely brilliant course, and I really appreciate it.
Great. All right.
Thanks. Yeah, same from me. I don't know how I didn't find you last year when I needed to see a counsellor, because I was looking for a spiritual counsellor in Newcastle, and I found one, but it didn't work out. So
right. Okay.
It's funny how things happen when things are meant to happen.
Yes.
So,
when the student's ready, the teacher comes. Remember that.
Yeah.
All in perfect timing.
And I've learned a lot from I've learned a lot from your Zoom trainings, because I do Zoom training, and I've picked up a few hints and tips for my students as well. So it's been great.
Good, Can I just say, if anyone wants to add me on Facebook, go ahead, and we might be able to do swap readings. That'd be really good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I can actually, do you want me to make up a messenger group with all of you guys in it so that you can keep in touch with each other on Messenger?
That'd be great. I was actually going to say the same thing in terms of practicing and that sort of thing, especially since we've gone through this together. So it's not as embarrassing to be able to, practice with each other, so we can say, hey, is anyone up for a practice or whatever?
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have thought of that before.
Can we make our own little Facebook group, or
you can do whatever you like, sweetie, but it's probably better just to make a Facebook, because we've already got a Facebook group that's public that you can do readings on. It's probably better if you make a messenger group so you can talk to each other.
Yeah,
and then we can go off into our own
readings. You can go off into your own little room and talk to each other face to face if you want to do that, all from Messenger now.
Yeah.
Like I noticed Messenger, I stopped using Messenger. I used to use it for clients all the time, but it wouldn't record, and it was very limited in the applications that it had. But I noticed, I was on there yesterday with someone, and they've upgraded it, so they're constantly building the platform to make it better and better. So there's all sorts of options there for you to be able to go into little rooms with people and chat face to face and do all sorts of things. You could even do your own little kind of group thing like this on it, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah,
great.
Thank you so very much.
That's okay. My pleasure. Love and blessings.
Thank you.
Until we meet again. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.